are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we're the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making Locked On Rays your first listen every day. And remember, Locked On Rays is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube at Locked On Rays. Ulises, did we get another subscriber or two, or are we still at 194?
Oh, baby, we got 3. We're at 197.
Okay, so we're above Jose Molina territory. That's nice.
We're like at Carlos Pena 2012 right now.
Okay, we got to get to 200.
Let's just get that punch up.
Bills.
Yeah, let's go.
Please, let's get there. So if that isn't enough for you to subscribe, I can't help you. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Rays, and you can email us anytime, lockedonrays@gmail.com. We've gotten a couple of great mailbag questions, and that is something we are inviting and will be taking because it's still lockout season, folks. So send us your questions or possible topic ideas. We take it all. In the meantime, Ulises, today we have a very special guest, and that is dedicated listener Tyler Parker, who is the Locked On Rays fantasy football champion. And for winning the league, you know what? Standing ovation.
Standing ovation.
If I gave it to Wander Franco.
There we go.
Got to give it to Tyler. I did terrible in that league, first of all, but I
think I did better than you. And you know how much football I know.
Yeah, I think it just goes to show that fantasy football can be a crapshoot.
Don't tell that to Tyler.
I know.
Don't tell it to him.
Yes, I was getting to that. But part of the agreement, whoever won that league would be a guest co-host on the show for an episode. So Tyler, congratulations. What was your strategy with the fantasy football league? Like, how did you defeat the competition to win it all?
Well, first off, thanks for having me on, guys. Secondly, I did mentally just as much as you guys. I didn't know what was going on. As much as a football fan I am, I think I had a new team every week. I had Debo, Samuel, and Burrow. Beyond that, it was a wild west out there. We didn't know who was going out in the field. Had a strong start, but in the end, we think we lost 4 straight going down the stretch. But it only matters in the playoffs.
It's a crapshoot in the playoffs, man. You get in there and you just got to stay hot.
Anything can happen. Although I didn't have a chance at making the Fantasy Football League playoffs because I think I only won 1 game over the course of the entire season.
I got you beat by, I think, 4. I think I won like 5 games, so not that bad. But still, I think I was the worst in my division.
Yeah, so hopefully we bring it back for fantasy baseball. And the same thing is going to go on with that. Whoever wins that league will get an opportunity to guest co-host the program. So, Tyler, I understand that you are based or living in South Carolina. I think I saw a portion of the USC South Carolina Gamecocks sweatshirt, not sweatshirt, but long t-shirt. There we go. Yep,
yes, sir.
I got it correct. What brought you to South Carolina, and how did you become a Rays fan? Are you from the Tampa Bay area originally and then moved there for college, or have you always been in South Carolina?
I actually grew up my whole life in Indiana.
Oh,
wow,
okay.
look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's an Indiana podcast.
We've got Tyler Parker. We've got myself. We've got Kevin Kiermaier, Mike Brasso, all the greats.
Trisha
I'm
Whitaker.
also from Fort Wayne, where KK was from. I think I grew up about 20 minutes from him. Small world.
That's awesome. So is that how you okay, again, how did you become a Rays fan then, being from Indiana?
So it really started about 8 years old. I really never had a team, but we always took a road trip for spring break down to the Tampa area. We stayed in Reddington Beach. We always loved the area, but once during the trip, we always made it a deal to go to a Rays game. And after a while, after like 2 years, it just grew on me that I was sold. It's a fun team to watch. I mean, where I'm from, it's about a 3-hour drive to a ballpark. So it's a whole day trip to get a game in. So that was a big opportunity. I mean, they latched on to me ever since. But yeah, I was just loved them.
So Tyler, about what year was that when you started going to Rays games? From what I'm hearing right now, it seems like you started getting into the flow when the Rays were good, I guess? Was it like around the 2008, post 2008 marker?
It was 2009 because I didn't know it because I'm just a little kid. I didn't really follow baseball that much, but they went to the World Series. We went to the next year and we just opening day and they raised the banner. I'm like, oh, good for them.
It's a good time. I honestly, I remember that '08 season, and a lot of people became fans during that time. I mean, high school was popping. I've told you this story many times.
Mm-hmm.
In driver's ed class, man, we would pull that television and see the Sports Center highlights and a lot of race highlights that year.
Yeah.
A lot of race highlights.
By the way, that was Freedom High School.
Yes.
Freedom High School education right there. You're watching Sports Center, watching race baseball. I guess it worked out. I guess it literally paid off for Ulises here.
Look at that. Thank you, Freedom High School. Thank you, Hillsborough County. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't thank them for many things, but we'll thank them for that as of right now. So, Tyler, what brought you to – so I understand the Rays origin story, but I am curious about what brought you to South Carolina. Was that like always a dream school for you to go to Columbia and study there?
It wasn't even in my mind until last January. I went to a local school in Fort Wayne, Indiana, was there for 2 years, got kind of tired of it, was kind of fearing being there my whole life. So I wanted to branch out, try something new. So the South was calling. South Carolina, got some SEC football. It's just a really fun time. It's nice being in a big school environment. It's my first year here, so I'm still acquainting myself.
Well, you got to get to know the right pizza place. You got to get to know, the hangout spots. How are you feeling? Are you feeling at home now, even though it's been a year?
We found the pizza spot. That was a gimme. That was agenda number one coming down.
Yeah.
Hangout spots have been found. Feel at home. It's definitely I like the South a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah, you're not the first person to feel that as somebody from Indiana moving to a little more south than South Carolina to Florida. It's like, not going back.
How's the snow? I know Kevin doesn't like snow, doesn't like that stuff. Did you also kind of migrate down because of that hatred towards the negative Fahrenheit, or you miss it?
That played a part. Can't say it wasn't a part. But I mean, we had snow here 3 weeks ago, but it lasted a day, so it wasn't a big deal. It was 70 degrees today. It was gorgeous.
Look at that.
A lot better than Indiana right now.
Probably, right?
Yeah. 100%. Okay, so Tyler, there's been a lot of news with the Tampa Bay Rays as of late, or I should say a big piece of news with the Tampa Bay Rays. Something Ulises revolving around stadium talk, I guess.
Something like that. How does it – I want to hear that opinion.
I want to hear a fan's take on this, honestly. I mean, not that we aren't fans, but somebody,
right?
Maybe more from the outside as opposed to –
And literally from the outside, though.
Yeah.
So I want to hear – Tyler, when this whole split city – before it was declared officially dead – did you think it was a good idea, only going to maybe a few games here and there? How did you feel about the whole split city before it was declared dead?
I mean, in all honesty, I think every fan could tell you this. It was just a bad idea from the start. I mean, you have to respect the economics of it, owning 2 TV markets, having twice as many fans. But that's on paper, though. You were going to burn the bridge with the fans you had in the Tampa area. You were probably going to lose a lot of that business. I don't know if they would have stayed full time once they realized that they lost the Tampa market. But personally, cheers to the new plan or the old plan being dead. And now they can focus on more important things like the Ybor City destination. Personally, I saw in recent news they were looking at that St. Pete airport on the water. I like the idea of it being on the water in a beautiful landscape peering out from the outfield, but it doesn't solve all the issues of the stadium, being that it's still a 30-minute drive from downtown Tampa to St. Petersburg, and all the traffic going in, all the traffic going back. Like, you'd have the beautiful stadium, but you still have no fans.
Yeah, that's a big problem. And I go back to it. I think that the Rays are just using St. Petersburg as a negotiating ploy. They don't really, I can't see how they have any legit intention of building a new stadium, wherever it is, just nowhere in Pinellas County, quite frankly. They're just using it as, they're kind of, they are still interested in keeping us. So Tampa, maybe up your offer a little bit.
And also, the airport is farther away than the Trop right now, isn't it? Like, I mean, I haven't.
Look, the only reason I go to St. Petersburg is for Rays games. That's about it, quite frankly.
Well, so I think it is. I think it is farther away the airport than the Trop is from the center of Tampa. So it would be beautiful. I love that idea of creating a landscape where you can kind of show off where you are geographically in the U.S. PNC does it. San Francisco does it. So many ballparks do it. The way that Wrigley is integrated into the middle of downtown is just tremendous. I would rather it be being integrated in Ybor City than, with a beautiful, golf. I get it, but I want it to be popping. I want a Wednesday 6:40 p.m. start to just be nuts.
I'm tired of the not argument, but the constant discussion and scuttlebutt about, hey, this is a great organization, great franchise, but they
fans.
They can't draw. Nobody shows up to the games, and that becomes a constant thing. So it would be not saying that 40,000 would pack an Ybor. I mean, the stadium would be, it's going to be a small stadium, 28,000. But all I'm asking for at the end of the day, just average 20,000. Yeah. Average 20,000.
That's not that bad. But I do have a question. Tyler, small trivia question here. If I wanted to get Stu in a room and Jane Castor and all these people, and they're really asking for something low calorie, high protein, 100% real chocolate, what should we give these people?
I think I have an answer, and I think the one and only answer is a Built Bar.
That is correct. Mm-hmm. Built Bars are 100% covered in real chocolate. They're low calorie, high protein. You can replace your candy bars with Built Bars. They're better. A typical candy bar can be anywhere from 200 to 300 calories when all Built Bars are around 130 to 180 calories. You've got to go to Built.com. If you go to Built.com and you use promo code LOCKED15, you get 15% off your order. So if you're Jane Castor, if you're Stu Sternberg, if you are any type of Rays fan in South Carolina or Fort Wayne or Tampa, Florida, you got to go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order at Built.com.
What I would do is I would stick Jane Castor and Stu Sternberg in a room without food or water for several hours, offer them a Built Bar, and say, what would you be willing to pay for that said Built Bar?
You know what? I think that's probably what people want the owners to be doing in a locked room and figure out the lockout situation.
Even then, you might be a little too generous.
Situation is, right. I don't think the lockout situation, that's still going to be an ongoing topic. I don't think things are going to get resolved in the next week or two. I think it's going to be several weeks.
Hey, we can wait till Saturday. Apparently, there's a big thing happening on Saturday. Let's wait and see. I don't know.
Yeah, a big nothing.
Yeah.
There's going to be a big no involved.
It's going to be a Built Bar wrapper with nothing inside.
Pretty much, essentially. Tyler, we assume we're going to have baseball in 2022.
Yes.
We assume, there is going to be baseball of some shape or form, but
yes,
legit Rays baseball. With that being said, Tyler, want to get your take on this. Couple sort of prognostications and projections for the upcoming season. Couple things here. Who do you think will be the best Rays starter in 2022?
I got a couple of favorites.
Okay.
One of them is dealing with an elbow issue, but the other two, I would say either Shane Baz or McClanahan. And I think McClanahan might have the edge by a little.
That's fair. Going with the lefty. Okay.
Yeah, and I think
gotta love the lefties.
At the end of the day, I think Shane Baz will be a better pitcher in time and a more productive pitcher in time, but I still think there's going to be a little bit of not babying, but easing him along into, it's not like, okay, opening day, you're the ace now, right? Yeah. You're going to throw 180 innings. I think they're starting to get to that point of Shane McClanahan of really taking that mantle, especially with the absence of Tyler Glasnow.
After the 2021 season, I would think that there's no way that he doesn't get opening day nod.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he gets Shane McClanahan. Here you go. Game number 1. That's you.
Which is pretty crazy because, I mean, it goes back.
He's almost a rookie.
Yeah.
That was his rookie season.
Well, that too. And some of the fact that, all that tied in and some of his injury history and past, and the fact that, like Tyler mentioned, like you mentioned, Ulises, he is a lefty. And it's tough for a lefty when a lefty starter. You can be a lefty on left, kind of find a niche role, but to be that guy that's throwing 5, 6, 7 innings where 70% of the league is right-handed hitters, not an easy thing to do whatsoever.
No.
Okay, so very good answer, and I think you're right on mark there, Tyler. Okay, what about the best Rays position player for this upcoming season? Who you think that will be in 2022?
Now, coming to no surprise, I think we all know it's going to be Mr. Wander Franco. Obviously, his amazing season. But in addition to this, I think Meadows could have a run for his money. I think 2020 may have been a fluke, 2021. I want to see him in 2019 self, because that was something that I haven't seen an outfielder do for the Rays in a long time.
Honestly, I like the dark horse Meadows pick because you take 2020 out, you have an all-star campaign of 33 home runs in 2019.
Unbelievable season, yeah.
290 average, 88 runs batted in, and then he follows it up in 2021, his second full big season, and then he goes 27 bombs, something like that, 26, 27 bombs, 100-plus RBI. The average was low, but we know that OPS is what matters in 2022. Yeah. So I dig this. I think if you put his averages together, he's a 3-WAR player in the major leagues, like per season.
Yeah.
I don't think you can sleep on him. However, like Tyler mentioned, I think it's a run for second place, because if you've got money, you would put it on Wander Franco.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, Wander Franco will probably lead or be top 2, top 3 on the team in WAR. I don't think Meadows would quite reach that mark, but I would not be surprised in the least if like the best overall offensive season in terms of if you're looking at home runs, RBIs, OPS, like Meadows certainly has proven that he can be that guy for sure. And I think he got a little bit unlucky last season. And the question I have for Meadows, well, is this his last year before arbitration?
I think so.
Okay, so there's some motivation there
to
get paid a little bit.
Yes.
I'll throw that out there. But also I'm curious the adjustment of, I wonder if his playing time defensively is going to be tapered back because there's so many other outfield options as of right now. And I wonder, not every guy can handle that adjustment of, oh, I'm no longer an everyday position player. I'm just a DH.
And let's also talk about his splits too. I mean, he's not an adept lefty on lefty guy. Not a lot of people are, but you have to mention that. So, but let's see. I mean, again, he's a young guy. I think
I like the dark horse pick.
That's a really good dark horse pick. Okay, what else?
He was also at the Orlando meetings today. Austin Meadows.
Yes, he was?
Yes, among several other Rays players, which makes sense because the meetings are in Orlando. So, like, I mean, you're not going to make that drive just to show face a little bit?
Can't make it.
I'm fishing. I'm drinking a Miller Lite. That's what I'm doing.
I'm in Pass-A-Grill right now. Yeah.
Is that where he goes?
I don't know. That's where I go.
No, he's probably oh. Okay, you are showing off. Enough of you already. Okay, so good answer there, Tyler. We talked about the starter, talked about the best position player you think. Who will be the best reliever for the Rays in 2022?
Now, it comes down to how Kevin Cash, as we know, is not surprising at all. But I think it could be between Rasmussen or Kittredge. But it depends if Rasmussen is a starter or is he bullpen. Because, once again, who knows with Cash. But my biggest flaw with Kittredge, can he avoid the bullpen injury bug that has plagued this team for far too many years?
Especially a guy that has an elbow issue in 2020, came back without going to Tommy John. But how many times can an all-star reliever be an all-star reliever in back-to-back seasons?
Yeah.
That's tough to do in the major leagues.
I think we've said this before. Kittredge had his career year last year. He's not going to surpass what he did last year. He can still be not a shell of what that was, but he can still be a very solid reliever. That might have just been his one all-star year in baseball.
And just because that means that was his peak doesn't mean that the rest is going to just be bad. I think he could still be a solid reliever. And I think when you have those peak years, hopefully that gives you a little bit of a self-esteem and you know that you can succeed in the major leagues and maybe, can give you a little bit of oomph. But with Drew, I'm before I answer what I think, Drew, if you're cash, if you're riding the rotation, if you're the guy in command of this ship, where do you place Drew? Are you putting him in the rotation, or are you shifting him back into the bullpen?
Tyler, what do you think?
Oh, I think he goes to the starters. He is part of the rotation. And I say this mostly because of the Glasnow injury and the timetable not being certain. They need guys up there. And right now, I'm not seeing AAA having that many options available. I think Rasmussen, he's done it before. He did it in September a little bit. He had strong starts. I think he gets a couple more innings. But I could also see him sneaking back into the bullpen on a weird Wednesday night, but who knows?
Yeah. Who knows what the Rays. It also could be one of those things where maybe he starts the year as a starter, and then maybe if a prospect or two, Tommy Romero, is ready for the call-up, then maybe they shift things around, or maybe Josh Fleming has shown some things, maybe. And who knows? We still have to remember that the Rays also signed Corey Kluber, so they're going to have a lot of options seemingly. What?
Remind me of his peripherals. Didn't Drew get very, very high exit velocity
against
it was
him, insane.
And very, very low percentage of whiff rate?
And he's a two-pitch pitcher.
So, again, the low whiff, do you want a low whiff guy in the bullpen? I don't. I want high strikeout guys, and the Rays seem to like that. But like you said, two pitches.
Yeah.
I mean, even Tyler Glasnow with his devastating 99, 100, and his devastating curveball had to get that slutter going. Can Drew develop a third pitch?
Yeah, that's the thing. Drew might just be a one-time through the order guy at the end of the day.
That's valuable in the Rays organization.
That's true. That is very true. What's so funny is that we talk about, okay, who's going to be the best reliever for the Rays in 2022? Like a year and a half ago, we would unanimously have said, Nick Anderson, next question. And now that's totally, I mean, who even knows what we're going to see from him ever again if and when he makes his return in 2022, second part of the season, and how effective he's going to be if that arm is going to hold up. It's really kind of an unfortunate story. And that is why guys have to capitalize on their earnings. They have several guys, pitchers especially, they have a very short window to make that money.
Yeah.
And they need to make that money. So speaking of money, one place where you can make a little more money is BetOnline. BetOnline.net remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcast, and news this season. And it's not just football. BetOnline has up-to-the-minute info on pro and college hoops, NHL, boxing, UFC, along with live real-time updates of current games. So don't wait to take advantage of all the new amazing offers available for the 2022 season. BetOnline, it is where the game starts. Also, we want to mention it's Super Week, brought to you by Get Upside. And there is no better place to get coverage of the big game than the Locked On NFL podcast. Locked On Bengals and Locked On Rams are in LA. They're in Los Angeles, baby, all week covering the big game. Don't say what it's actually called, Ulises.
We can't. We would get in trouble.
No.
So don't say that.
It's the big game, a very big game. Or Roger Goodell, if we said what it's really called, his $63 million annual salary.
No, get out. Wait, time out. He makes 63. No, wait, no. That's lie. That's lies.
63 mil.
And Rob Manfred gets 11 million. That's why baseball is in this situation.
Among other reasons.
Yes.
So anyway, moving along, we won't talk about Roger Goodell anymore. No. I think we'll move along from that. I am curious, after the big game, can we say what it's actually called, or is it?
What if I like cereal, but I like a lot of cereal? What kind of vessel would I need to eat a lot of cereal in?
A superior bowl is what you would like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Something along those lines. Anyway, moving along here. Let's do some rapid fire questions with Tyler.
I like it. All right. Adjust the gloves, the batting gloves, Tyler. All right, get ready for the heaters.
Yep.
Since 98.
There we go. I think it's pretty nice that Tyler is from Fort Wayne. So I'm going to set up this question for him because it does involve another Fort Wayne person.
Please.
That is Kevin Kiermaier. Tyler, will Kevin Kiermaier be in a Rays uniform all season long?
As much as I love him, that's going to be a no.
Okay.
That's going to be rough.
Addendum to that, though, is he going to get traded before the season starts?
I personally do not think so. He's going to have one shot these next 3 months to prove it, and this might be his last shot to prove it before teams give up on him with age and time. So I think the Rays are looking for him to give out a little showcase to trade him away.
Ooh. I agree with Tyler.
I mean, the rumors were really heating up right before the lockout.
And Jason Stark did mention that his name was sounding off with him, Contreras, Kimbrel. So, yeah.
I get the feeling that Eric Neander just
ran
out of time.
Ends.
Well, I thought he was like, man, I got to try to pull off this deal before 12:01 a.m. I've got to do it. And then he just missed the mark.
Well, that's what happens.
I also think that there is no way that KK is going to be in a Rays uniform the entire season. Because
he would have to be just playing the best baseball of his career. He would have to be playing 2015 level ball.
I mean, technically it is a career year for him with the buyout and so forth. But that's the other thing too, is like what's KK's salary expected to be this year? 12.
More than
if the Rays keep him the entire year and don't want to pick up his option, then they got to pay the buyout.
That's right.
So it's really like a $14-15 million salary.
Which for Stu, is that a lot?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very
for
much.
Stu, it's a lot of money.
A lot of money.
It is.
Another quick hitter. Will Wander Franco lead the team in WAR? That's the first part of the question. Is that a yes or a no?
Oh, yeah. Easily.
Okay. Will Wander Franco garner MVP votes?
I think he could. He had a lot of chemistry in the clubhouse and a lot of respect in the game itself. I think he could be getting team MVP votes and even league MVP votes. Fingers crossed if he gets good enough.
You know what? Austin Meadows got MVP votes league-wide.
Yeah.
Brandon Lau got MVP votes. Mike Zunino got MVP votes. Why do I know those three? Because those three got me a little bit of a prop bet win. So there you go.
How about that? That's the thing, too. It's not like, hey, only 4 guys are going to get MVP votes. I mean, there could be
one vote,
like 20 guys. Yeah, it's kind of like the Hall of Fame with some of the nonsense voting. Not saying those guys did, but again, who's giving Austin Meadows an MVP vote?
Hey, you can give 10th place MVP. There you go.
Was he the 10th best player in baseball in the American League? Rather,
most valuable player, not best player.
Okay,
That's
was
what
he
it's
the
actually called.
10th? You could. Somebody could make that argument with the clutchness factor he had. I will say that, but he didn't provide anything defensively. I'd have to dig into that one a little bit. Okay. Which Rays position player will lead the team in strikeouts? This isn't a good thing. Which guy will strike out the most for the Rays?
I'm going to say this. It's going to be, to no one's surprise, Mike Zunino, but he will also lead in home runs.
Back-to-back monster home run years for Mike Zunino. I like this.
So under Tyler's assumption is that I guess Mike Zunino is going to get a little bit more playing time this upcoming season, or a little more at bats, I should say. Maybe he gets some DH action. Who knows?
I mean, yeah, why not?
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah,
I would have maybe gone for Brandon Lau, but
or Randy Arozarena. That's the podium.
That is, but
yeah,
he just can't. He's got his highs, but he really shows his lows, and that's my biggest struggle with Lau. Arozarena, he's a 25 home run hitter. I mean, he does his job.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he also can get streaky.
Yeah,
that is true.
Yes, he can.
That is true. Okay, Tyler, I will let you do this one, Ulises. I was, taking the microphone away from you. I'm sorry.
Thank you. I like this one. Will the Rays win the AL East, Tyler?
I think it'll be a nail biter down the stretch. It won't be easy, but it's a possibility. I can't say yes or no, but the one who they will be having a nail biter with is not Boston. It is not New York. It is Toronto. They were dangerous last year. It was amazing they didn't make the postseason, and I think they're hungry. They want a taste of that postseason action.
Honestly, I think it would be so good for baseball, for the Rays and the Jays to get on top of that division and just show the baseball world like it's over.
Yeah.
You guys got to do something else because what you're doing ain't working.
Yeah, just imagine expanded playoffs. You legitimately could have 4 AL East teams depending on how big of an expansion the playoffs are. Not the Orioles.
The
Orioles.
best division in baseball.
Yes.
Punto.
I will say I'm not yet ready to say the Rays will win the AL East. I want to see what happens with a couple free agent signings.
Yeah.
Mainly with other teams. Like, do the Yankees land Correa? That's sort of what I'm looking out for.
Do they land Trevor Story?
Among other players.
Yeah.
So it kind of, or the Blue Jays. Maybe the Blue Jays go after somebody. So I think there's some considerations there too, for sure. Okay, Tyler, last rapid fire before we get to a little baseball trivia. Name that war. Will the 2022 MLB season start on time? March 31st is when it's supposed to start? Okay.
Yes.
Will the season start March 31st? Yes or no?
From what I heard today, Manfred's saying a couple announcements about the universal DH and amongst other things. It sounds promising that there are some deals being done, and I'm not going to be scared by the owners and them threatening no season because in the end, money is king and the owners love it.
That's right.
There will be.
You got to scare them. You got to scare them with the wallet.
Yeah.
How much are they willing to lose?
Exactly. Yeah. They saw 2020 with no fans.
Exactly.
That may have burned a hole in their wallets.
Yeah.
That may have. Just a tiny one, even if at best.
Just a smidge.
That's the thing, though, is they're billionaires. So do they really even – I feel like for the majority of, professional sports franchise owners that this is like their pet project. They made their money in another industry, another market, another career. And it's like, oh, I've got so much money that I can buy a sports team and I can –
this isn't their 9 to 5.
Yeah, so
they did that.
But again,
but they don't want to lose their money either.
That's
like
the
they're not
thing.
dumb.
Yeah, so
that's why they're billionaires.
Exactly. Yeah. And they also probably know the long-term repercussions of not canceling a season, but having a
94
the casual fan checked out, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big consideration there. Okay, let's move on.
Yes.
Baseball trivia, name that war. This question. This is for you, Tyler, first, and then we'll see how well you do. And maybe Ulises can fill in the blanks, actually. Let's see. Okay, so in front of me, I have a list of... Oh, my gosh, trying to get my count right. Let me count. This is great podcasting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. There are 9 Rays and or Devil Rays pitchers in franchise history who have won 40 or more games. Name 5 of those pitchers.
Are they exclusively like in a Rays uniform or their whole career?
This is exclusively in a Rays uniform. Great question. So these guys have won 40 or more games as a Rays pitcher and then may have gone elsewhere.
All right, I'm going to start writing this down.
And Tyler, you get the first crack at it. What did I say? I need 5 players.
5 of 9.
5 of 9. Yeah, and you get 3 strikes.
5 of 9. Okay. We're gonna go first one. We're gonna go David Price.
Very good. That is correct. He had 82 wins in a Rays uniform, so that gives you a little bit of a benchmark there.
I'm gonna go from Devil Rays to Rays. See if we can work our way forward. But number 2 would be James Shields.
James Shields is number 1 on this list.
Number 1.
87 wins in a Rays uniform.
I was a little worried about that one. I didn't think he was going to be on there.
No, very good.
Number 3, I'm going to choose. I'm going to go with Blake Snell.
Blake Snell is on this list. 42 wins in a Rays uniform. I need 2 more. You have James Shields, you have David Price, and you have Blake Snell. There's
one guy on the tip of my tongue. Let's go with Wade Davis.
Wade Davis, good guess, incorrect, strike one. But you're thinking, there's a couple guys from that era, I think.
Well, that's about the time I started watching, so
Okay.
before that might be a stretch.
I will say all these guys, you know what? I think every one of these guys except for maybe one pitched exclusively in a Rays uniform and not Devil Rays uniform. So you probably want to think, 2008 and beyond.
Let's do Alex Cobb.
Alex Cobb is correct. Number 5 on this list with 48 career wins. Tyler, you have 1 strike, 4 correct choices. 1 more if you can do it. 1 more.
Gotta go Glass now.
Glass now, strike 2. Ulises is just biting his tongue. He's ready to
He's
go.
ready. I can see him.
I need 1 more. Let's give Tyler another guess. Let's give him another one.
All right,
So you have Shields, you have Price, you have Snell, and you have Cobb. For 9 pitchers with.
I think I know if I can remember his name.
You know what it starts with or what he looks like. I might be able to give you partial credit.
Give me partial credit, but he threw the no-hitter.
Garza. He wants Garza.
Strike 3. Matt Garza is not on this list, but still a strong effort.
Strong effort. 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. Ulises, can you get the 5th one and maybe all of them? I have a feeling you're going to get pretty close. Rapid fire here, if you can.
Chris Archer.
Oh.
Number 3 with 55.
Scott Kazmir.
Scott Kazmir tied with Chris Archer with 55.
Jeremy Hellickson.
Number 7 with 40.
Is that it?
You have 2 more.
There's
2 more guys with 40.
No way.
And I will say their names also start with a J.
J.
Not Jeremy. You got a Jeremy. You got a James. Or Tyler got a James.
John. No. Jonathan. No. Jimmy John.
I'm going to give you the answers.
Okay,
and you're going to just be so upset.
Oh.
Well, I don't know. You'll be like, oh, okay. Jeff Neiman.
I did love Neiman.
And Jake Odorizzi.
How quickly we forget.
Yeah. Now in a Astros uniform, is that right?
I think so.
Wow. Crazy.
Okay, very good. Very good. Trivia question. I'm going to make, unfortunately, I picked a guy that Tyler maybe saw just very little of as he became a Rays fan in the last season that this guy became a Ray.
Okay.
Scott Kazmir. Can you guess his baseball reference WAR in this segment of Name That WAR? If you want, we can put Kevin on the hot seat first to kind of get you a clue of where he might be. So, Kevin, let's help out Tyler.
Okay.
What is Scott Kazmir's baseball reference player WAR?
Oh, so I'm guessing first?
Yes.
Okay.
Give Tyler a little bit of a range.
Scott Kazmir. Oh, man, I should have looked it up while I was doing this trivia question. I'm going to say 25. That's my guess. 25.
25. Okay.
Maybe a tad high, but that's welcome.
Tyler, you can price this right this thing, or do your best college try here.
I think we're looking at 18.
18.
I think he shot a little too high there.
18, 25?
I'm going to say it's like right in the middle of those two. Like
It's
split the
right
difference.
in the middle. It's right in the middle. Scott Kazmir baseball reference WAR is 22.4.
I was closer.
Yeah.
I was closer.
He was closer.
Very by a decimal, but he's the guest, so he gets the win. He gets the W.
We'll take a participation trophy on that.
There we go.
Exactly.
We all get participation trophies
That's
nowadays.
right.
I'm not ashamed of that.
3-time All-Star Scott Kazmir, by the way.
How about that? And
about
still
that?
pitching.
Still pitching.
One
Yeah.
of those guys. Tyler, it was a pleasure. Again, congratulations on your Locked On Rays Fantasy Football Championship. Hope to see you for the Locked On Fantasy Baseball League, and maybe you'll be a guest again. And hey, keep watching the Rays from South Carolina, and maybe, I don't know if you go back to Indiana for, to see family and whatnot, but we don't just want Rays fans in the Tampa Bay area. We want them everywhere. That's what we're looking for.
Exactly. Because, people say that the Rays don't have fans. Well, I think with this podcast, with this platform, we've shown that there are Rays fans everywhere, not only in the U.S., but around the globe. And that's really, really cool. So, Tyler, to end the show, did you have fun? Would you say that this is a good platform to come on?
Of course, I had a blast. This is the podcast that you got to listen to every morning. The only podcast you need to listen to every morning.
I like it.
I'm going to clip that.
I like it. Yeah, clip that. Send it to David Locke. Send it to our bosses, even when they're mad at us sometimes. I'm just going to isolate that clip. And, hey, we have one guy that enjoys the show. At least one.
At least one.
You only need one.
So, yes. Tyler, thank you again. And thank you all for making the Locked On Rays podcast your first listen every day, like Tyler said. You can also make your second listen the Locked On Bets podcast. That is also free and available on all platforms. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you next week.